everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm James.
And today we are doing episode 9 of our full Skywalker Saga review, where we're going through all the Star Wars movies from the beginning to the end, including all of the spin-offs and whatnot. And we're going to go on to give you our non-spoiler overview of our initial impressions, then go into a full spoiler-filled plot summary, and then end it off with ranking all the movies here for you. And that's a nice, fun little debate we get going on at the end of the video. So with that being said, let me just jump in. Today we are sponsored by Casamade. Casamade is a Canadian company that personalizes in custom vinyl creations. From our casa to your casa, their products are custom designed to meet your style and personality. Visit facebook.com/Casamade. That's facebook.com/CAZAMADE. Whether you're looking for something unique for yourself or a gift for someone else, Casamade has something for everyone. And you can see from these mugs that we used in the last few videos that they have graciously provided us. They have a huge selection of stuff. Head up to their website and take a look if you're not into Star Wars. Well, first, I don't know why you'd be watching the video, but but they have Marvel, they have DC, they have Harry Potter, whatever you're into, they'll have it. And if they don't have it,
make things for you as well,
Absolutely.
which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
We give them a lot of ideas.
For sure. So let's get into the non-spoilery part, overview. So I'll start this time. So overall, Force Awakens. Interesting new start after years of no Star Wars.
Yeah.
Disney acquires the company. Force Awakens is directed by J.J. Abrams, and Kathleen Kennedy is the overall head producer of overall overseer of the Star Wars franchise as it goes forward. And it was interesting. I can say that I came out of the movie with a smile on my face. I enjoyed what I saw. Got a lot of the stuff that drew me into Star Wars, but at the same time, I kind of felt like I've seen it before. And I feel like the downside of the movie is that it is a retreading or retelling of A New Hope for the most part.
Yeah.
There are a lot of new things in there, but the main plot story beats follow very closely to what we've seen before. Go ahead, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a good introduction to a new trilogy, a new chapter of, Sith and Jedi, like bad versus good. I thought it did a good job of introducing all these characters and getting a connection with them. Yes, it was quite a few similarities to Episode 4, but I think it was done intentionally so that it would draw people in, like, hey, this is something you're familiar with, but hey, there's these new people as well. Yes. So I guess Abrams felt that it was necessary, to draw that old crowd, but also you have these new characters to draw new crowds in as well. So you get the old and the new coming together, and I guess he had to go a little cliche or typical with the plot line.
They had to
some
guarantee
aspects. Yeah,
they weren't going to have a prequel issue. This is Disney's first foray out. They have to do it as this movie had to be a hit, and they had to get as much fans on their side as possible.
Yep, they got me. I was pumped.
I
loved it.
Yep.
I love seeing the original characters coming back as their old selves, aged properly. I love the new characters. Before it came out with all the previews and trailers, I was coming up with all these theories from, novels and past non-canon things anymore, legends. Is it Luke or Han and Leia's twins, Rey and Kylo, or is it part of Luke's spawn or anything like that? So I had all these theories and stuff like that going on, and friends that were all speaking about it. So I was really excited to see Disney bring something in and see their touch on it, because they seem to always hit the ball out of the park. And so yeah, I loved it.
Especially with the acquisition cost, they had to make this a success. Or else,
$4 billion to acquire. I did forget to mention we are doing Episode 7, Force Awakens, officially. So I think without getting to any spoilers that, and I'll get more elaborate later on, but I think that some choices that were made in the movie I think could have been done differently. But I'm sure that's everyone's opinion with any movie that they see. Did I like the movie? Yes. But I do feel that they played a little safe. They did do some interesting things that I enjoyed. I did like the movie, but I do feel that overall, when it comes down to it, from the beginning to the end of the movie, there was a key element that for me wasn't there, that I think that they missed the boat, and I'll get into that later.
I
So-
think I know what your biggest gripe is. It's probably the same as mine.
Okay, so let's jump into the plot summary.
All right, so this takes place 30 years after the Galactic Civil War. The First Order has now risen from the fallen Galactic Empire and seeks to eliminate the new Republic. The Resistance, backed by the Republic and led by General Organa, opposes them, with Leia searching for her brother Luke, who has gone missing. So we don't know much about, why he's missing, where he's gone.
Nope.
But we just know that a bunch of people are looking for him at this point.
Mhm.
On the desert planet Jakku, Resistance pilot Poe Dameron receives a map of Luke's location from Lor San Tekka.
Mm-hmm.
Stormtroopers commanded by Kylo Ren then come down and raid the village and capture Poe, while Kylo kills San Tekka. Poe's droid BB-8 escapes with the map and encounters a scavenger named Rey near a junkyard settlement. At this point, Kylo is up in his ship again and tortures Poe using the Force, and learns that the BB-8 unit that was with Poe now holds the map that he's looking for. Stormtrooper FN-2187, who is we'll later find out is Finn, distanced himself from the First Order and frees Poe, and they try to escape using a stolen TIE fighter. So, at this point, we saw when all the Stormtroopers were attacking the villagers, FN-2187 did not fire.
No.
He saw his friend die and put the red mark on the blood mark on his,
which you never saw
helmet.
in Star Wars. Like you see stormtroopers get blown up, rebels boom flying. You hear the crazy scream,
Yeah.
but you don't see blood. You see laser blasters and death.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh, there's blood. This is war. This is gritty. This is different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is what I loved about the first part. This movie, they came out with a bang. It's this big battle scene. Well, not battle, but the stormtroopers come. Kylo Ren comes down menacing, and then Poe tries to shoot and he freezes.
And that's
That
what I
was
was going to
so
bring up.
cool.
That
New force power.
holds
That
it there. Shows how
was-
powerful he is.
Yeah. And just fantastic. And as
Just holds it
Poe's
as he
being
goes, yeah.
dragged by, and he's frozen.
Yeah.
He's being dragged by. He
And
goes
this-
by
The bullet. He's looking at it like-
blaster,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like he's just staring at it like this. I've never seen this before,
Yeah.
and everyone in the theater is like, "I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
Either. And it's just like a shock and awe.
So in the video games, it's known as force stasis. It's a power that they had in video games where you can freeze something or object or whatever, and
Yeah.
freeze it in time, if you will. But it's the first time you see it in the movies, and
Mhm.
I guess if you want to consider it canon, because some video games aren't canon, but yeah, really cool, and I like that. I like that they delve into like there's so much of the force we don't know. It's such a mysterious element, and yeah, we know the Jedi and the Sith can harness it, but depending on the level of training and depending on what secrets they've been covered, it's different for everyone. Well, there's a lot of similarities. It's very unique in how everyone reacts to it and how it works. And I like that aspect of it. Like, ooh, we're getting something new, something that this is going to bring a twist to how things kind of go forward. So I like that.
So going back to FN-2187 and Poe trying to escape from the TIE fighter, went in the TIE fighter.
You get introduced to Captain Phasma.
Yes,
Well, at that point,
yes.
where she's report to
Kylo Ren,
Yeah.
yeah, she's like his right
check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
person.
No, weapons check, and did I give you
Yeah.
permission to remove your helmet?
Take your
Yeah.
helmet. Yeah, so she's very by the book, military training and style. So she's in charge of all the stormtroopers.
And you hadn't seen that before either, right?
No,
Like,
and the
Stormtrooper take off
silver
their-
kind of stormtrooper outfit was
Yeah.
something totally new.
Yep.
We hadn't seen the black stormtroopers yet before. We'd only seen like kind of
Death Troopers weren't introduced yet, and we now know the
The
First
Sand
Order has red
Troopers
and
or-
gold.
yeah,
Commander Pyre is
Sith.
gold, and red is there's another named one, and now they have Sith Troopers. So there are different
Yeah.
things. They are different
Yeah.
ranks, different types. But this is the first time we're like coming back to Star Wars. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, an introduction to the kind of different rankings within the stormtrooper.
Yeah, like you must be
True,
special,
yeah.
have this special armor.
Yeah.
yeah.
So upon learning FN-2187 has no other name, Poe gives him the name Finn. So that's how he is gifted that name. As they head to Jakku to retrieve BB-8, they're
Can I
shot
just say
down.
one thing?
Of
So
course.
we went over the torture scene with Kylo Ren, and that was a new force power of like
That's right, going
torturing,
into
ripping
the
through the mind,
mind.
and not just like Darth Vader through the motions of Luke could sense stuff and your sister, and we talked about that in previous weeks. But the fact that it's not I can read your thoughts and it's just painless. It's like I'm going through your mind. It's ripping your mind apart. Like this is a new force power,
Yeah.
or it's definitely an improvement on what we've kind of seen before. Really cool and very, again, scary. Like this guy can freeze time. He can like go through people's minds and such towards them. Like this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So have either of you played the Battlefront 2
Yes.
game for Star Wars? So the story mode, have you both finished
Yeah,
it?
I have. Yeah.
I only have one.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the second, spoilers.
What?
In the second one, so you get the story mode in the second game, but in one point at the very end of the game, you get to go into someone's mind as Kylo Ren. So
That's right.
So you're torturing
That's right.
them, but you actually get to see
What he does.
He's
yes.
actually in their mind as himself.
Yes, it's really
chasing them
smart.
through, different things that the person's trying to hide in their mind and use blocking and different characters and stuff like that to try and block Kylo Ren out. But he just fights through and then eventually gets the information that he needs at the end.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So
idea.
it's cool to kind of see what is taking
The
place
process,
inside
yeah.
the mind when that's just happening in that force power.
It's true. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was really nice about the game.
So they're escaping and they head towards Jakku.
Yeah.
Now, did
Why
we
does
already?
everyone wanna go to Jakku?
Yeah, I know. Did we see Ray yet? Or have we not seen her officially? Because I know that sometimes the plot
So
skips
Ray has been BB-8 was found Ray,
Yes.
and
That's
she
right.
helps release him from.
Yeah, this is before they crash. Because when they crash, once they crash, it continues their story until he ends up with Ray. So I don't think the plot got into that. Does it mention it? If not, we can
Has
kind
she
of go through it.
rummaged through the AT-AT? In the
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the very
So we
beginning,
skipped that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just
so
skipped that.
Yeah.
so if we cut over at some point to Ray,
Yeah.
who's on the planet wearing some weird goggles, and we're like, what is this alien creature? What is this? Whatever.
Kind of looks like a stormtrooper type.
Yeah,
goggle,
weird,
but like
weird thing.
Yeah.
Scavenging, and we find out, getting parts, slides down this rope, and then we see, as we kind of pan out, she's in this big structure, and then again, as she gets outside, it's this old, beaten up Star Destroyer that's crashed on the
that's
ground,
right, that's right.
which we don't normally see, because they're always up in the air. When they crash, they're usually blown up. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
not only
They
is the
actually
scale of
land
this really
somewhere.
big,
Yeah.
but like it's on a planet,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, she's scavenging, and we find out her life as a scavenger, and she kind of goes up down a sled on her speeder, goes and she's selling parts for food.
Yeah.
That's how her day-to-day life
Portions,
is,
yeah.
right? Portions.
And then we go back to her house, and it is.
And she's living in an
broken
old
down
AT-AT.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's doing some stuff, whatever, and kind of see like she's found like an old rebel helmet that literally looks like it was from A New Hope,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From the Battle of Yavin. It's red, and again, couldn't have gotten there to this planet from there, but a rebel
was a
pilot
red
had
leaf,
fought
yeah.
in the Battle of Jakku, had died, and she got the helmet. Really cool Easter eggs and callbacks to our history of the AT-ATs and the helmets and everything there. Cool effects with like the food preparation and stuff, but just a day in the life of, to kind of be like, okay, this is just a person, this is what they're doing, this is what they do to get by.
Yeah.
And then BB-8 kind of comes.
This just kind of shows you the history of the planet itself.
Yes.
Right? Experiencing war and these things happening.
Yeah.
So I think that gives that a little bit depth that way as well.
Absolutely.
This is a junkyard place where like people just ravage to survive.
Yeah.
Another desert planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she hears screams of BB-8 and stress. She runs out and sees Tito is trying to
Capture
Capture
capture whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, give him back, and frees him. And then she goes, okay, you're free, go away. And then he wants to follow her, and she's like, no, don't follow me. Like, I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And then kind of, okay, fine, for one night you can come with me, and then they become fast friends thereafter. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. Didn't mention any of that, but okay.
Yeah. So they're going back down to Jakku, but they're shot down
Yes.
on their way and crash land on the planet. So I'm just trying to.
I thought the boundary between Finn and Poe was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was cheesy or anything. I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, this is different. Like, Poe's really excited. Like, yeah, like Han's like, woohoo! When he like
Yeah.
kills someone, he has that like in him. He's that flyboy. He's that just want to blow things up, and that personality. Kind of similar to Han. Clearly not a scoundrel.
Yeah.
But you see some similarities that they're drawing upon that.
Well,
Like being
especially
a
after
young
they
hotshot.
crash land, he finds the jacket, puts the jacket on. It's kind of like a Han Solo type looking.
Yeah, which was Finn's, right?
jacket, yeah.
And but I just thought it was cool. Like,
Or
I'm
Poe's,
Poe.
yeah.
Nice to meet you. What's your name? Oh, I'm FN287. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Short name. Never had a name. Okay, Finn. I'm probably Finn. Oh yeah, I like Finn. Like just the back and forth. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty like a nice
Yeah.
comic relief that wasn't like knock you over the head kind of thing that
Yeah.
we've seen in other stuff.
Exactly. So Finn survives and assumes that Poe has died in the crash. He encounters Rey and BB-8,
Mhm.
but the First Order tracks them and launches an airstrike. Finn, Rey, and BB-8 steal the Millennium Falcon from the junkyard. So just going to that part, I love when they're running. It's like, let's go that one. Oh no, it's crap.
It's a
It's
piece of
junk.
junk.
We'll leave it. We'll
And
go to this
then
newer one.
boom.
They blow up the big one.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go that one.
Yeah.
We'll go back to that
We'll
one.
go back, and then
But everyone sees it. It's like, oh, it's the Millennium Falcon. They're like, no, it's
that
junk.
thing's garbage.
Yeah, and they try and run by it. So
How
it's
about the
a
whole
little
like
comedy.
holding my hand? You're like, stop
Yeah.
holding my hand. I can run
Let go
faster if you
my
don't hold my
hand.
hand.
Yeah. So that little comedy things here and
Yeah.
there, where it's not like a droid that typically does the comedy. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, BB-8
BB-8 does
a
have
little-
moments, and you'll see it more now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So they steal the Millennium Falcon from the junkyard. Finn shoots down their First Order pursuers as Rey pilots their ship off
Yes.
the planet. So there's that big scene of
Yes. Great job. Great shot.
Rey says that she can fly. We've never really seen her, fly. It doesn't look like she's had much
Training, but
Yeah.
training that way because she's kind of poorer on the poorer
Mhm.
side, and no one's really going to let her just fly.
she can fly. She can
I
pilot
don't
a
know much
speeder.
about her
Yeah.
at all, right? Like,
Yeah.
Other than
So his at one point Finn's gun gets stuck, and he's like, I can't
Yeah,
shoot.
my
So
gun's
she has
stuck
to
in a
do
forward
this
position. I can't move it.
maneuver where she does
She
this
flips
backflip kind of thing,
over.
kind of
Yeah.
stalls it, and then
Yes, lines up the shot. He's like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
That was so
Yes,
cool.
that-
Like,
yeah.
So
what a
I-
smart, creative way.
And I really love that there's one of the first battles where it's down on a planet, not up in the
Yes.
universe.
Yes.
Right? So they changed it that way as well. It's
Yep.
like, oh, this is cool. Like they're really they're going through whole ships and like
Mhm.
Star Destroyers and
And the reason why
different
they're
parts
low
of
is
the
like,
planet.
it messes up their signal, their tracking signal. Like,
Yeah.
stay low. He
Yeah.
says, stay low. It messes up their tracking systems. It's like, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he
He's
has
from
that
the first
insider-
order.
exactly.
He gets how
He
the
has
things
that
work.
insider
This is how,
information. Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
smart. Very, very smart.
So these were the little things at the beginning that I liked. The new force powers, the new battle scenes. The new kind of characters.
Yeah.
We don't see any of the old ones yet, or hear much about them yet. Just by name. Saying you're the son of Han,
Mhm.
or Leia sent me to get the map. Yada yada. We're looking for Luke. So right now it's just name dropped at this point.
And then while they're flying around, BB-8 does like the Spider-Man. He's
Yeah.
falling around, banging on.
Yeah,
gets the
so
flip.
he's staying there.
So he just gets all these. It's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
just BB-8 just is great. It just used them so well.
Yes, yeah, and especially for someone who couldn't speak.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
bang on how they use them. A large ship piloted by Han. Well, we don't know at this point, but we eventually find out it's piloted by Han Solo and Chewbacca. Captures and reclaims the Falcons. So that was just great seeing the door.
That's right. So
open.
they get stuck in the tractor beam. What's happening? I don't
it's
know.
the First Order.
That's
Let's
right.
hide in this,
So they get
storage
sucked
compartment.
in. So they all hide.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're like rigging it so that when the First Order comes, they
that's
can.
right. But before that happens, they have to repair because there's a leak and
That's
it's
right.
like poisonous gas.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to figure it out. So she's trying to repair it, and so Finn's there pretending he's
Yeah.
part of the resistance. And he's like, "Yeah,
No,
BB-8,
not
tell
this
her
one.
the base
Yeah,
is."
you gotta tell me I'm not really part of the
Yeah.
thing.
He's like, come on, just.
Yeah.
I just.
Hand me
He's
the
so
thing.
funny.
Yeah.
Finn was great. I loved his character in this one.
Yeah.
Played it off really well.
And
He's like,
his,
having
his
this thing.
interaction with BB-8. And
No,
everything as well.
no, that one in BB-8's like that one. And he's like, "Thank you," and then BB-8 has
Flips, yeah.
So
the
good.
flip,
I
yeah.
thought that was so good with the light.
Yes,
the
so smart.
flame.
so smart.
Yeah,
Loved
so
it.
they
loved it.
used him very well, and he interacted well with all the characters as well. So
Yeah, trying to think on the seat of his pants. Very like I loved it. Loved Finn as a character, and John Boyega did a great job.
yes, definitely. So that scene where Han and Chewie come in, you get that I'm home
Yeah.
feeling.
Yes.
You get to see them on the
Chewie,
Millennium
Chewie.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Chewie, we're home. It's just like, yes, that
Mm.
you feel
bring
that
it back.
as,
You bring it back to whenever you first watch it, right? You're like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's Harrison Ford.
And he's
Chewbacca,
back in
he's
the Millennium
Han
Falcon where he
Solo,
belongs.
Han Solo, yeah.
Yeah, so I love that part as well. So this is what really brought me into this movie, why I liked it so much. It's just getting those little Easter eggs. And
I think he
tidbits
fills
and
it
stuff
up.
like that.
And this scene alone, we'll continue. I'll see if we pass by.
Well, the next parts were the gangs.
Okay, so they had the point where he comes on, and we had Finn when he was trying to get the parts. He grabs like Luke's training remote that was in the ship. We saw that flash up, and then we saw when he comes back in and they're talking. And she's like, "Oh, you're the Han Solo? Yeah, you did the sort of 14 parts. Like, hey, that's 12.
12
like,
parts.
just, and no, Solo wasn't out yet. But even Solo makes the thing like, "Hey, I did it in 12," because even he corrects him in the Solo movie. Like, "Hey, no, I did this faster than
Yeah.
than the stories."
It is if
Get
you
it
round
right.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really, really great, funny moments there, and like you're the Han Solo, and
yeah. And
The
then
whole
you
history.
see him walk. They kind of give him let him walk into the cockpit by himself and just. I wonder if that was
Yes.
scripted at all, or if this
probably
is
not.
Harrison Ford seeing the old
Yes.
set again
And
for
just-
the first time and just being like, oh, nice, and the dice are up
Yeah.
and everything. So it's a lot of homage to the classic. Falcon
Absolutely. We have the
back in
Dejarik
past.
chess table thing come up, boop, and then you
That's
turn it
right.
off. We had
That's
a little
right.
flashback there. So a lot of little nods
It
there.
was great to see all that. So eventually, gangs seeking to settle debts with Han attack the ship.
Kanji Club and what was the other one?
Oh,
I remember the one.
yeah.
Kanji Club.
Han and the others escape in the Falcon. So there's a big scene. They release the beast that they have captured on there, and there's a big, ordeal. Rey saves Finn and all that stuff. So a little bit of a filler there, but it was interesting to see what Han and Chewie have been doing in the meantime to keep busy, and that they're still, trying to stay ahead of everyone. That they're kind of not
He's still doing his
double-crossing,
thing.
but he's trying to do.
Flying by the seat of his pants.
That's right.
Smooth talking
Make
to
his
everyone.
money.
Yeah,
Do
always
what he
in
needs to
mind.
do. Yeah. So Han and the others escape in the Falcon. At the First Order Starkiller base, a planet converted into a star-powered super weapon. Supreme Leader Snoke allows General Hux to use the weapon for the first time. Snoke questions Kylo's ability to deal with emotions relating to his father Han Solo, who Kylo states means nothing to him. So one of my biggest gripes with this movie is recycling. They call it Star Killer Base now, but it's pretty much just a bigger Death Star.
Yep.
And they even make comment about that when they bring up the hologram. They're like, "This was the Death Star. This is Star Killer
It's
Base.
even bigger.
It's like 10 times the size of it." Okay, he did the same thing, but now it's just 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
So that I think they could have.
And they're like, "Oh, we built it into the planet, so you can't just like blow it up because it's a planet itself.
Yeah.
But you also can't fly it around because it's a planet. So
And it takes other planets.
yeah, so it can shoot
sucks
across
them
galaxies,
in.
and one
Yeah.
shot can split up and
And do
aim
both, yeah.
perfectly
Yeah.
into Fort. Like, I don't
So
know.
my biggest issue with this movie, I'll get it out now, is that the super weapon was the same as the other two super weapons that were used in the past, just bigger.
Yep.
I think they could have gone, a
I
lot
should- I
more
should-
with.
They should have just did Knights of Ren. They
Yeah.
have this group of people who are going out and who are just they land on a planet and they just are unstoppable and they decimate.
As
and they
soon
kill
as you know
everything
that
they
their
do,
ship lands,
and
you
you don't
know
need a big blow up
that,
planet.
Yeah,
They come down and do it, and I'm like, that would have been cool. And it's like, oh, it's not just Kylo Ren you got to worry about because we saw one. We introduced his crew, which we get to see them in a flashback,
Yes.
and then that's it for 2 movies basically. We're not there yet, but just I thought I agree. I think they could have done something else completely different, and they didn't. But
So that's my biggest issue with this movie. So aboard the Falcon, Han determines that BB-8's map is incomplete. He then explains that Luke attempted to rebuild the Jedi Order, but exiled himself when an apprentice turned to the dark side, destroyed the temple, and slaughtered all the other apprentices. So we
not
don't
all of
know-
them. Some of them joined him, who became the Knights of Ren, and
Yeah.
killed the rest. Yes.
Yeah. The crew travels to the planet Sokanda, I believe it was, and meets with the cantina owner Maz Kanata,
Yeah, Maskanata's castle. Yeah.
who offers assistance getting BB-8 to the Resistance. So that's where we kind of meet this new character that loves Chewie.
So Rey helps Han fly the Falcon because Chewie gets injured in the mad gang shootout and the Rathars.
That's right. And
Finn
Finn
has to-
Finn's trying to heal him and he's getting like choked out and stuff. Again, it's just some funny moments there. But then she's like, I'm gonna be your co-pilot. I'm gonna help you fly. And he gets impressed by her really quick and figuring out there's a compressor and this.
Because
and
she
this.
like
bypass
bypasses.
Yeah, and he's like, oh wow, like you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And so when they get there, talks about adding on to his crew and giving her a job.
a weapon.
gives her own
Says,
gun.
do you know how to use this? Yes, I point and shoot.
He's like, sorry, like I have to get back. I have to go back, and I'm waiting for people and whatever. And so he has this like almost like again a parental moment, this connection to her.
Yeah, which made me think: is she a twin? Is she his twin? Does
I
he
still
know it, but
think
can't
they're
do it? Is he
related.
memory wipe.
But we'll see how they pull it off.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so that was pretty much it. We didn't really miss anything else, right? They had the Kanji Club, the Rathars, the crazy stuff that happened there. It's funny that the Rathars literally grabbed and killed guys within seconds, but then grabs Finn and rolls away with him and doesn't eat him. Like I thought that was, if this is a creature that just grabs and eats things, then they should have just, if they're gonna grab Finn, wait a lot longer, grab him, and then they close the door.
Yeah.
And instead of he's running through the base with Finn for some reason, even though he decides to eat everything else, again, just some choices that just didn't make sense to me. But it was what it was. They wanted an action scene, and a sense of danger, and
Yeah.
that's what they got.
And then Rey saving the day. So after a bit of talking and going back and forth, Finn decides that he's going to join another crew to get away as far away from the First Order as he can, because he knows, he feels that they can't be stopped.
Yes, and this is where he tells Rey that he was a
he's not
stormtrooper.
really,
He's not with the Resistance, and like he
to
knows
come
what they're
with
about.
her.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah, come with me. She declines, and then Rey is drawn by the Force to a secluded vault down below, where she finds the lightsaber that once belonged to Luke and his father Anakin Skywalker before him. She experiences disturbing visions and flees into the woods, confused and terrified. Maz gives Finn the lightsaber for safekeeping.
So Maz confronts her first.
Yeah.
She's all confused, and she's like,
You were drawn to
"Yeah, this
that.
is it. It belongs to you." Blah, blah. He's never touching that again. And kind of like runs away from it. And she's trying to tell her like, "There's a connection. There's a force. Like, I'm not a Jedi, but I understand this, and like, you need like this is part of you. You need this. You need. There's a connection here." And Rey wants nothing to do with it. That's clearly got to set up something.
Yeah,
she's obviously connected to this heroic Skywalker bloodline and what the story's about. Yeah. She's got to be connected to it in some way. That's my theory. Either why Luke she has to be somehow connected, right? I still think that she's going to be similar to Luke and Leia. They were separated at birth for whatever reason. Leia was told that she died at birth, so they just assumed she was dead. Had no idea that she was survived and taken away. Who took her away? We don't know. Was it Luke? Yeah. As a safekeeping in case something went wrong with Ben because he wanted to train him. We don't know. We'll get this backstory, but I think they're somehow were born. They were connected. They were told that she's dead. She was abandoned by her parents. She was lied to. Yeah, and that she'll be connected. But we'll or
maybe maybe she was just kept away for safekeeping because
whatever.
Maybe they felt like she was too strong in the Force, or that she could have the possibility of turning or whatnot.
Yeah, we don't know. But I mean, either way, I think that there's some connection here. The fact that she was connected to this specific lightsaber. Yeah. And then the voices, I put on the captions to exactly hear what was going on. So Yoda had speaking stuff about the Force, influence, everything, blah, blah. Ewan McGregor comes on. And the last line is, these are your first steps. As in, like, these are your first steps towards where you got to go. Like, we're not just hearing, like, past memories of the... No, this is him speaking to her. These are your next steps. I don't remember him saying that. Yeah. Or these are your first steps to Luke at all. So I'm pretty sure this is a new dialogue line that was said directly to her. Yeah. And so there's a connection here, but it is what it is. So she was drawn by this thing. Freaks out, has some emotional connection, runs away.
Yeah. BB-8 follows.
Yeah.
So Starkiller Base destroys a planetary system which is home to the New Republic's capital and Senate and a portion of its fleet. The First Order attacks Takonda, which is where...
Takodana.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. In search of BB-8. Han, Chewbacca, and Finn are saved by so they're captured. The First Order thinks they've won, and then all of a sudden the Resistance comes, coming low down that water. That whole scene is just fantastic.
And they came because when they walked into the cantina and they see BB-8, you had one guy said, "Tell the Resistance we found the droid," and then another one says, "Tell the First Order we found the droid." Yeah. And so they both end up coming. But exactly. Again, rehashing of Mos Eisley cantina. Another cantina scene, you walk in, crazy music, a bunch of aliens. Again, I don't mind that because we are going to a lot of different locales. There's a lot of aliens. We saw it in Jabba's palace. I'm fine with that. But just like literally the beats of like a droid gets the plans and runs away into a desert with the plans. It happens again. Someone gets captured. Leia gets captured. In this case, it's Poe, and he's got to be saved. It's a different way he gets saved, but he gets saved. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, okay, they have to go and track down this droid. They end up leading to a cantina. They have to escape. Like it's so beat for beat. Yeah. Like they couldn't even hide it. Like it was just so like, okay, in 15 minutes we get to this scene, so finish it. Like almost to the point where it was almost like to the timing. Like it just same old. But I mean, I'm not hacking on the movie. I still enjoyed it. It just could have did things differently.
Definitely.
So yeah, so they arrive. The First Order and the Rebels arrive. The Resistance arrive.
Led by Poe.
Yes.
Who survived the crash. So there's that fantastic, like I love seeing, the overhead shots of the X-Wings falling the TIE fighters.
Yeah, then see how quick is it? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom, boom,
boom, they're attacking the ground, they're attacking the skies, they're attacking, everything. So it was just, and the graphics on that and the CGI were just fantastic.
Yes. Now, before they arrive, Finn uses the lightsaber.
Yes. Yeah. Against
Maz gives it to him and says, like, take. Like, I don't have a weapon. He's like, take it. This is your weapon.
In your hand, yeah.
And he goes and turns it on. And I don't know if you noticed this. I listened to it again when I rewatched it. the sound effects on the lightsaber are in fact different.
Okay.
He's not a
Depending on
Force
who's
user.
well-
When Rey lights it up, it sounds like the original sound effects. When he lights it up, it's definitely more raw. It's more like Rey's is more like has that hum. This is more like like it's different. And if you listen to it, and even when he swings it, it's not night and day difference, but there is a difference.
Yeah.
And I think they purposely did it. Like you're not connecting using the Force with it. There's a difference
It's just
there.
yeah.
And that was cool. I think some people had issue with that. Like
Yeah. He's not,
non-Force
he's
users
not-
can't
yeah.
use a lightsaber. Well, it's literally a switch to turn it on.
Yeah.
He didn't build it. And I mean, he is. If you know how to use a sword, you can grab a
And he's
lightsaber
been
and use
trained
it.
in the
Can you
military.
hurt yourself? Yes, but he's been trained.
Yeah.
If you're not reading the comics, there's extensive of. He was good for a variety of weapons. He was at the top of his class from a fighting perspective. And obviously, in this movie was his first real battle, and that's why he kind of freaked him out and decided he doesn't want to be part of this anymore.
Yeah.
But during the ranks of his training, he was one of the tops. Him and the guy who supposedly yells "traitor." I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
They were like good buddies apparently in the training in the comics, and so when he sees him, he knows it's Finn. He's like traitor,
Yeah.
and he pulls out that crazy shock baton, and
Yeah.
oh, so cool, so
Which-
cool.
So I was surprised that the lightsaber didn't just slice right through it, but because it had the
that
shock.
they
part to
have
it,
they
then
have
make it-
anti lightsaber tech, and we
Yeah.
see that in the next movie as well. That stuff's been around. I mean, I think again, not shown in the movies, but in the comics, the Emperor's royal guards had their staffs also had stuff to use against lightsaber, or and their armor I think was also resistant to lightsaber. So
Excellent.
pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Sorry. So then Leia and C-3PO land and reunite with Han,
Yes.
who says that he saw their son Kylo Ren, who was walking away with
With
Rey.
Rey. Yeah. So they
there's
see her
that whole
take her.
part where Kylo
They're in the
chases her
forest?
in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It freezes her.
She's trying to shoot. He's blocking it with the
Yes.
lightsaber, and then freezes her.
And her hand, she can see her like she's
Yeah.
struggling trying to pull it, and she can't move, and she's terrified. I'm like, she did a good job. Daisy really did a great job there.
Yeah.
And then literally after talking to her, she's frozen. Just like
Boom.
knocks
Knocks
her
her
out.
out.
Like just wow, like awesome.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kylo captures Rey and takes her to Starkiller Base, but she resists his mind reading attempts. Discovering she can use the Force, Rey escapes using a Jedi mind trick on the guard. So I thought this was great. Kylo Ren is trying to get into her head, telling her little tidbits about her past and stuff like that, and then she just spins it around.
She's just
and
like
says, "Oh, you're scared.
Yeah.
You're not going to live up to."
Yeah, just like
your
fights back.
grandfather." Yeah.
And a lot of people took issue with this. Like she's not trained. How she's just able to use the Force? Well, we know again in
If
prequels
you're
and other
Force-
movies, if you're Force sensitive, sometimes your Force powers come out. Like, how do you find out you're
Out of
Force sensitive?
stress.
Something happens out of stress, out of like life threatening. Something happens. You're like, what the heck just happened there? And then you realize something's different about you. It happens. It's been known to happen. She clearly must be very powerful for her. Like she was getting tortured. She was screaming, and then she kind of just like, no, I'm gonna fight back, and then boom, just somehow tapped into the Force to use it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's far fetched. I was okay with that.
Yeah, same here. I like that she tried using a mind trick. It didn't work right away. She tried a couple times and eventually it worked.
Yeah,
and dropped
and
it down.
again, and it kind of shows you that like she's trying to use the Force. She's not trained. She's learning, and then she kind of just focuses and just somehow taps into it. I'm cool with that. I have no
Yeah.
issue with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people had an issue with that. She's not trained. She can just start using the Force. Well, clearly, it just develops.
Yeah. Now, was that guard that dropped was the mind
Yes, it
trick?
was.
Was that
Yes.
007
yes,
himself?
it was. What's his
Daniel
name?
Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yes, it was. It was confirmed.
As
Daniel
there's a
Craig
huge
played that.
rumor about that before.
I will
yeah.
tighten those restraints, you scum. And I'm like, yeah, that was him. And drop the gun.
And dropped the
Yeah,
gun.
it just
And dropped it. And I'll drop the gun.
and
Yeah, so cool.
So I thought it was a nice little Easter egg on that.
Well, apparently one of the scenes, I think it was the Takodana fight, but I could be wrong. One of the stormtroopers was played by Kevin Smith,
Yes.
the Jay and Silent Bob,
Yeah.
Silent Bob
Yeah.
character. Yeah,
He's a huge
Star Wars fan. He's a big
guy.
director and everything. But yeah, he
Yeah.
got to play a stormtrooper as well.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
And then, who's the guy that gives out rations to Rey?
Oh, Unkar Plutt. Yes.
Yeah, so he was played by
Yes, Simon
Pegg.
Simon Pegg. That's right. He was
Yeah.
a big friend of J.J. Abrams. He was in Star Trek, and so he's in the movie. So yeah, he's
Yeah,
in there.
so I like those little Easter eggs where he let friends.
But you
have it.
couldn't tell.
No,
Like, he's up to make him
none
so
of
fun.
these characters you can tell who they are, but they know that they're part of the movie and part of the universe. So
Really cool.
it's good for them. At the Resistance base, BB-8 finds R2-D2, who has been inactive. As Starkiller Base prepares to fire once more, the Resistance devises a plan to destroy it by attacking the main facility. So this is, episode
So like,
6.
how are we gonna get through there? The shields are too strong. Blah blah. Blah. We need to disable the shields. How are we gonna do it? We need someone who knows how to do it. And Finn pipes up. He's like, I can do it. And the only reason Finn pipes up is because he just cares about Rey. He has a connection to Rey.
He wants to get Rey
He likes
back.
her, loves her, whatever you want to say, and he wants to save his friend. And you'll see that in other movies as well. That his main goal is he just wants to protect Rey. And so yeah, he's like, my friend's down there. I gotta find a way to get down there. He's like, sure, I know how to do it. Send me down there. I just want to get. And so when he gets there, talk about that.
And then Han and Chewie say that they'll take him down because they create that bond with Rey as well, and they want to get her back.
Yeah, so they go
And
down and they want to
time.
destroy. They have the bombs and the stuff to do it. So they get set down and there's a funny conversation about like,
Oh,
hey.
you're cold?
He's like, oh, I was a janitor. He's like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? He's like, we'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works. What's the matter with you?
Oh, so like that Chewie makes a noise. You're like, oh, you're cold?
Yeah. Really great.
Yeah. So, there's some comedy in that as well. So using the Falcon, Han, Chewbacca, and Finn infiltrate the facility, find Rey, and plant explosives. Han confronts Kylo, calling him by his birth name Ben, and implores him to abandon the dark side. Kylo seems to consider this, but ultimately refuses and kills his own father. So I like how they use the light.
Before they head off, Han and Leia have a conversation, and they talk about the son and how they feel like a failure, and it was like, oh, it's my fault. It's like, it's not your fault, and like Luke trained him, and he blames himself, and there's all this dialogue behind him.
Yeah.
And then there was a kind of like, I'm gonna bring him back. Like Han's goal was to bring his son back.
Yeah, because Leia asked, bring her son back.
Because they were like, is there light in him? Is there good in him? Is he too far gone? And there was that conversation. So I thought it was cool, like setting up like, okay, there's they obviously still care about him and they want to bring him back.
So I like that they were talking about light and dark, and then when Han and Ben are speaking, it's light when he's considering coming back.
No, both. You see the blue and the red light.
Well, and
the light and the dark on his face.
Dark.
When the sun gets sucked up, it gets dark, and you just see the red hue.
See him, and
it seems like that changes mind. Like that seemed to change his tone entirely. He's like, oh wait, okay.
Yeah,
I think
this is a sign that I'm the dark side, and it ignites his.
And it's cool. It's all like metaphorical. Like he's struggling. He's there. He's not sure of himself, and you see like the light and the dark on him. It was a really, really cool artistic choice the way they did everything. And then just as the darkness comes, just like himself, he's holding on to that lightsaber. Yeah. And then just lights it up, and it's like the dark side takes over him. It's really cool. Really well done.
Yeah. Sad to see Han go, but I think that's what Harrison Ford. I'm pretty sure in his contract he said, "I'll come back as long as you kill me, and then you let me film Indiana Jones."
Yeah. Well, he said, he that was not part of the original script. He was not supposed to die.
Yeah. But because of Harrison Ford
requested that he die. Yeah,
he didn't want to do more movies, which is unfortunate because in my Han Solo is better than Indiana Jones character. But I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I'm biased. I agree. But even then, like he did a great job. Harrison Ford's acting was great. Even to the moment he gets stabbed and just like look a shock, and then like the touching of his son's face, and I'm just like, oh man, like great job, great job.
Yeah, definitely. So he went out well.
Chewie lets out a howl.
Devastated, Chewbacca shoots Kylo and sets off the explosions, which is also, stormtroopers have started to come, and the explosions take out the stormtroopers.
Now, after seeing Han use the bowcaster and like blowing guys up, and they go the power of that gun and just knocking guys' power, Kylo Ren takes it like a champ. Just takes it and it's like, oh, that hurts, but it doesn't go flying back like every other person in that movie that got hit with the bowcaster. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Like Han saves Finn from the guys. He's about to kill him, just one shot, boom, the guy flips over, head over heels. Yeah. But Kylo Ren just takes it like a champ.
Yeah. It shows how powerful he is. Yes. And how determined he is. So it sets off the explosions, allowing Poe to attack and destroy the base's thermal oscillator.
Yes. Oscillator
to begin the fatal chain reaction from the planet's core. Mm-hmm. The injured Kylo pursues Finn and Rey in the woods. Finn fights Kylo to protect Rey, but Kylo knocks him unconscious. So Kylo gets really mad when Rey ignites the lightsaber and says, "That's mine." And he says, "Take it from me." And they do this, battle, but Kylo's just too strong for him, and ends up burning him with the.
That was cool though, right? They're fighting, boom, 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 and then like Finn is inexperienced against someone who's trained with it, so like he's like he goes on attack and then quickly becomes defensive, and then runs away, and then boom, 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 and then when he's holding that stance, most Jedis are like there, but no, Kylo Ren is just like, I'm taking advantage of this, and just like he sees it coming, he's like, no,
Yeah, and
so
to
cool.
see that lightsaber where he has the two at the side and the
Yes,
one,
the cross
I
guard.
thought that was so cool to see a different type of lightsaber again.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always the dark side that has the cool new lightsabers in the
change it up.
films. But to use that, he's still holding it, but moving down, sliding down, and using the two side igniters to get into Finn's shoulder.
That's it.
And essentially,
And then after he hits
knock
him
him
off,
out.
and it spins around, and it's right up his spine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone.
So I thought that was a great scene. And then you see the lightsaber fall,
Mhm.
and then you think Kylo's trying to get it,
Yeah,
and all of a
grabs
sudden
it.
it goes right past him, and Rey
Rey.
grabs it and ignites it. So
That's it. And you're like, yes, Ray, and just bam.
Yeah.
Again, out of anger, and again, I this is another part where I feel like she's scared, but she's tapping into the dark side here without knowing it. She's out of anger. Her friend's dying. She just reaches out of the distress, grabs the lightsaber, and she's like gonna go ham on him, and then quickly realizes as we continue here that she's outmatched.
yeah,
And keep getting on the defensive. The same thing. She gets going away. She kind of turns, runs, go, turns, runs.
yeah.
She's
Then
no match
there's
for
nowhere
him
to go. Yeah.
until like at the very end where she finally continue.
She eventually during the battle she's at and she channels the Force to defeat Kylo in a duel, and they are then separated by the planet surface beginning to splinter.
So he talks about like teaching her, showing her the ways of the
Yeah,
Force. And she's like the Force, and she just calms down and
she's
like
like,
tries to remember the few times that she's tapped into it. With the Jedi mind trick where she calms down and somehow accesses it, and with blocking him out, it was more of like a defensive.
It's like she just
Peace.
centered herself and took all the
And
Force that
channeled
was
it in.
around her, and like
That's it, and there's
took
just
like
like
a brain dump of just get all the information she could, and then all of a sudden she's like, okay, I know all this stuff, so she knows. And then she starts, Kylo's on the defensive. It's like, holy crap, where did you learn all this stuff
and she's
from?
using the Force.
Yeah, gets some. So she cuts him in the face as well at
Yes,
that point.
this gets him in the face, hits him in the arm or leg or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember where. But yeah,
he took a
Did some
few
damage.
strikes from him that
And
she
at a
could've-
convenient
and then she's
time.
like literally it looked like she's gonna give the killing blow until the
yeah,
Kinda
splits
conveniently
them.
just-
splits him right in the
Yeah,
middle.
and that's because Poe had, as you mentioned,
Mhm.
shot and the planet's basically coming apart at the
Yeah.
seams.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
So Snoke orders Hux to evacuate and bring Kylo to him to complete his training. Chewbacca rescues Rey and the unconscious Finn in the Millennium Falcon, and they escape aboard the Falcon
As the planet.
is exploding.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. It's like crumbling. It kind of like almost implodes. Kind of falls in, and then boom.
Yeah,
Pretty cool effect.
yeah. So it explodes, forming a star.
Mhm.
Leia, Rey, and Chewbacca mourn Han's death once they meet back together, because as soon as Han died, it cuts to Leia.
Yeah.
She
She feels
the
this-
feeling through the Force.
Yeah.
leaves-
And then
So
Ray
this
and
is-
Finn physically see it. Chewie sees it.
Yeah. So you can kind of see that she has the Force.
Oh,
in her as
absolutely.
well,
She had it in
even though she
Empire
wasn't
where she sends
trained.
Luke, and he's like Leia, and then
That's
she's
right.
like, we gotta go back. Like I can feel
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
tap
absolutely.
into that bit and show that she still has the Force and is still strong with that. At this point, R2-D2 awakes and reveals the rest of the map, which Rey and Chewbacca used to find the planet Arcto,
Act 2.
Act 2,
Mm-hmm.
via the Falcon. After landing on a small remote island, Rey climbs a mountain, lots of stairs.
Mhm.
That's a long cut scene there, and eventually finds Luke at the summit. Without a word, she offers him the lightsaber, which is also a long, drawn-out scene where they're just standing there.
And we
Please take
and we
it.
got
Please
the
do
black.
something.
We got the black.
And cut the black. The
So-
end.
So let's just dive in here because we're getting pressed for time. So, okay. So my biggest issue with the movie was they did not use Luke as much as they should have.
Yeah,
The
you don't
fact
see
that
him
he
until
popped
the
up at
very
the end,
Yeah.
and then when they do show him, what a scene of like you're standing there for what seemed like 5 minutes, standing like just that was a very, I don't know what J.J. Abrams was thinking there. I understand that the second one's picking up where it left off, and that's fine, but
It was drawn
they
out
could have
way too
found
long,
him earlier,
climbing up
even if
the
he wasn't used to fight. They
mountain.
could have found him. They could have just more there. Maybe get her there sooner and having a little bit more to an ending. Something. I just didn't like that. Now we're seeing Luke and it's done. Like really? Like I came here to see Han and Luke and Chewie, and I saw everyone, but where's Luke?
He didn't even say a word.
And the saga is about the Skywalkers. How could you only have them for the last like 30 seconds, minute of the movie? Like that bugged me. That bugged me a lot. They think they could have used him more.
Well, the whole movie was about finding him.
Yes, but they
in
could have
the
found him
past.
sooner,
Yeah.
or because the movie was as long, they couldn't. Maybe they wanted to have more, and they're like, "It's too long. Let's cut it." Like, I just didn't like the use of him at all, but it was what it was. So that was my biggest issue with it. More so, just they should have used him more, used him differently. What else did I say? Finn getting Captain Phasma. You know, a lot of funny dialogues.
Yeah.
I'm in charge now, Phasma.
Is there
I'm
a
in charge.
trash compactor?
Yeah, there's a trash compactor. It was great. Like
Yeah, there
funny
is.
nods,
Yeah.
but like, man, you think she would have put up a fight, even if she's outnumbered, to show that she's like maybe disarms Finn, but then Chewie shoots her, knocks her out, weakens her, something, right? Like she's supposed to be got this crazy armor, high ranked, like she's there for a reason. She's probably a brutal killer, and literally have a couple guns on you. Do this right now. Why not be like, no, you kill me, you're not gonna get the shields. She just so quickly disables the shields for them. Like, I don't know. I just was disappointed with the use of Phasma.
Yeah.
Could have been differently. She put up a fight, a struggle. They injured her and they threatened her where she actually felt, I'm gonna die. Okay, I better do this.
Yeah.
You're just like, do this. Okay, but you know, you're not gonna win. Like, it was so easy. Like, you wouldn't think someone that's in the army wouldn't have like trained to like stand up to torture and stuff. They wouldn't so easily just flip flop. Especially someone that is so like
high up.
Blood bleeds first order and like don't take your helmet off and like, you know, like that kind of person. Just didn't fit for me, but it was what it was.
I feel like she's a new Boba Fett kind
Yeah.
of character with the helmet and the
Yeah,
all the
unfortunately.
stuff and the very little use of her.
And that's
Just
sad.
tidbits, but
That's sad. They could have made
See her
her
a little more.
more, but we get to see her more later, which is cool.
so
But yeah,
overall, the plot. What do you guys?
Sorry.
I like the plot. The story makes sense going from point A to point B. We're trying to find Luke, getting from where you need to go, meeting people. You know, some parts were just luck of the draw. Han happened to find the Falcon just as he happened to be in the area when they were leaving the planet to tractor beam them up, and then they make their escape. They arrive at the cantina. Okay, that's logical. You know, there are spies there in different places. No, the droid came, so they came. That was fine. I didn't have a big issue with her use of the Force powers, but not a lot of people had an issue with that. I liked the movie. I thought the plot was solid from a standpoint of like getting from point A to point B. And what was the goal here? The goal was to find Luke, and did they find Luke? Yes. I think it didn't have to take as long as it did, drawn out to get to find Luke. And then R2 had the rest of the plans the whole time. Oh yeah, he's been in low power mode ever since he left Luke. No one thought to boot him up to see what's going on. If he had something, wouldn't R2 want to let everyone know, like, hey, I have part of the map, but I'm missing a piece. You have to find it and go into hypersleep. Nobody knew that the map was in him the whole time. Like, Luke left him, and he just, see you guys, I'm going to sleep, and doesn't tell. Like, it's just small things like that kind of irked me. But, you know, I came out with a smile.
Yeah, I thought the introduction to the new characters well, and then the integration of the older characters is done well. You got right from the beginning, you got all of these new characters. Okay, perfect. You get an attachment to them, you get their stories a little bit, and then you bring in the older characters to add on to that, right? To make new friendships with the new characters, so you kind of integrate everything together, and build the relationships between everybody, old and new, and then yeah, as you were saying, from the plot line of okay, we need to find Luke to the end where they find him. I thought they could have found him sooner, and he could have had more of a role. But yeah, I think dialogue wise and storyline wise, it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was kind of the rehashing of, you know, between 4 and 6, that whole mixing 4 and 6 together pretty much. So I was a little disappointed with that. I think they could have gone in a different, more creative direction. But I love the new characters. I thought were really well done. You got the background of them. You got to be invested in this. That's what I think they're trying to do with this one. Trying to keep Luke out because he's going to be the main focal for the rest of the series. But trying to get that history and people to buy into these new characters, not just, you know, crush on the old ones.
Yep.
And then, you know, once you build that, now you can bring all three together, or all, you know, both, you know, new and old together, and tell the rest of the story. So I wasn't too upset with, you know, Luke not being in there until the end, but there's some parts that they could have skipped out, and definitely some parts that they could have changed to make more original.
Yep, absolutely. What did you think of the new characters that are introduced in this series? Poe, Finn, and Rey. I love them. I have no issue with the characters.
I thought they were all great.
Great personalities.
Well acted. Dialogue was great, especially the interaction between all of them. Not all of them met each other at the same time. Like Rey and Poe.
Poe has never met her yet.
Have never met each other. So it's, you know, Finn's met both Poe and Rey, and vice versa. But there's people that have heard of each other but not know each other. So I thought it was very good. They all had some comedy to themselves. The script was well done for them as well, and they were well acted. So I enjoyed them. And I was able to invest in them and say I want them to succeed. I like them.
I want to see more. I want to continue the story. And it didn't make me. I mean, besides the fact that like they ended with Luke, I have to see what happened with Luke. If that wasn't even there, and okay, we found it. We're gonna find him, and it ends. Like I still was like, I want to know more about Rey. What's her story?
Yeah.
And that's what's drawing me into this trilogy.
Exactly.
Is what is on with Rey? What's her lineage? How's this connected? Finn, I still think he's going to be very, very important. Yeah. Maybe we will find out that he does have some Force sensitivity, and that's why he was able to build a lightsaber. We'll find out. He was taken as a kid. We know that. We don't know who his parents are.
Yeah. Where is he from?
We might find out. Maybe not.
Family.
Yeah. We'll see where it goes. But yeah.
So what do we think of
villain?
Kylo Ren.
I thought he was great.
I loved him.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Cool Force powers, menacing.
To Vader.
Yep. Yeah, new mask design, but
the mask is similar to Vader, and that's why we find out that he, idolizes him and wants to be the next Vader.
Did you mind the tantrums?
I thought they were funny.
I thought it was very similar to Anakin.
But is that like the point? Like it's the same blood. You got like the whiny Luke. You have Anakin who's like, I hate sand, blah, blah, blah. And then you have like this guy who's like that same blood, the lineage, and it's like. He's filled up with his potential, this Force power, and he's just like, it's got to let it out.
I think he did that on purpose to try and
to draw a connection.
Yeah, and also just maybe not being able to control that anger as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he has so much anger
because he has so much back and forth,
and he already is the dark side.
Already, like, he's dark, but he has these.
He's not fully trained.
He's asking his grandfather to help him, lose these other feelings that he has and show him the way, and he's back and forth with his dad. He does, but he says that he doesn't love him.
There's a lot of conflict in him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe they're showing that as well. But I thought it was great as a very strong. The new Force powers that he has and stuff like that. So.
Okay. And I like that how they introduced him so early into the movie. Get it right at the beginning.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it was impact.
Who the main villain was going to be.
It was going to be
and like the lightsaber he had too. It's just
so
cool. Right. It's
so
like
cool.
a Darth Maul lightsaber where it's like, I love this character.
Shows how brutal like the First Order is. Like you're like line everyone up, okay, go, and they're just killing everyone. It's like, wow, like this is dark war. I like the tone of the movie. It started off strong. It had some things that I had a little bit of issue with, but not enough to make me hate the movie. I enjoyed it still. Okay, so before we rank them, final overall thoughts. Do you think Disney came out with a bang? Do you think as our first movie, our first Star Wars movie, this was a great movie, a good movie, amazing movie?
I thought it was a pretty good movie, especially for a first one.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought they did a good job introducing and getting people engaged and excited about this new trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
I thought it was great. Disney did play it safe, but that's that's the way that they wanted to do, and they don't want to fail, especially with all the money they put out into getting.
Yeah, I think if you go too soon, then
they didn't
might deter people.
And then if they do something wrong, the Star Wars fans are going to let them know, and they're going to boycott and make them pay
the issues were what we said. Death Star again. Same story. The stuff that we talked about that we picked apart were a lot of the issues, and then some of the stuff we didn't have problems were picked apart. Rey's use of the Force and all this stuff.
Yeah. But I thought they did a great job, and I really
maybe it'll make sense when the final movie's out. Maybe if she turns out that she is a Skywalker and she has this power because the Skywalkers are so powerful, then it's like, okay, then it is logical that she could just get the stuff. It's in her blood. So we'll see how it ends. But okay, so I guess we're jumping into the ranking at this point. So just a quick recap on where we are as of this week. Sitting in 8th place, we have Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. In 7th place, we have Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. In 6th place, Solo, A Star Wars Story. In 5th, we have Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. In 4th, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. In 3rd place, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. In 2nd, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And in 1st place, Episode 4, A New Hope. So with that being said, Force Awakens. Is this better than Episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Yep. Is it better than Episode 2, Attack of the Clones?
Yes.
Yep. Solo?
Yes.
Yep. Episode 3?
Yes.
Yes. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
I liked it. I'm going to say yes. You're still not sure. Okay, well, Return of the Jedi. Was this better than Return of the Jedi?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm thinking about it.
No.
I'm thinking about it. Was better than Return of the Jedi? Emperor or Vader?
I think this is where I had it in. Yeah. It was close.
It's got the strong bad guy.
I know.
It's got the new character.
Really cool bad guy, cool Force powers.
It's got the
But
new
then they have
the
this the
ship,
rehashing bugs me.
That's
the
So
ship
Death Star
battles
again.
on the ground.
I love the comedy. I love the new characters, but
BB-8. Yeah.
BB-8 was great.
The old and new.
BB-8 was great.
I'm gonna
You know what? If I'm taking enough, if I was like, okay, we're gonna watch a Star Wars movie tonight. You can watch Episode 6, or do you want to watch Force Awakens? Those are your only choices. I'd probably.
Episode 6.
I think I'd go Force Awakens.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the comedy of that.
Yeah.
But I still
that's
love
fair.
Return of the Jedi, and from
Oh,
a
for
story
sure.
standpoint,
Oh, that's fair.
definitely more impactful.
Yeah.
Way more impactful. But was this an amazing movie? No, but it was a good movie. I came up with a smile. I watched Return of the Jedi. I still come up with a smile. I enjoy what I watch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think
With the comedy that's in it, the action.
maybe it's just the fact that it's fresh. It's new characters. It's a new start. It's different. That's what kind of
But you
draws
still
me to
get
it.
a little bit of the old too. So it's a new and old. It's a nice.
Yeah,
freshness
I
where
think
you
that's
get
what it is. A nostalgia play. So I'm gonna put it above Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Is it better than Rogue One? For me, no. I can't do that above Rogue One. So I think
I
that's where
just
it
think
sits.
I would put it above Rogue One only
Okay.
because
Okay.
the story is more impactful to the future of it. Rogue One is just like literally they would get that Death Star plan and that was it. You knew that no one was going to survive. There's no future for these characters. You couldn't invest in them.
Mm-hmm.
The story was great. The graphics were great. Everything, but I thought this tells more of a story.
Rogue One also has nostalgia.
Yeah.
Rogue One has a solid story. It has new characters, the same thing.
It's all new characters where you're just meeting them and you don't really get involved in them because you know they're going to die.
Okay.
That was
They
my
had
issue
great
with them.
moments with Darth Vader at the end. They had great moments of like making Episode 4 that much greater with it did so much for the story as a whole
Yeah.
that
But wait till
it was so
the movie
solid.
before
It was so
Force
solid.
Awakens makes the Force Awakens even better.
Saw Gerrera bugged me in that movie. I didn't like
Yeah.
his character so much, but I mean, no movie's gonna be perfect,
Yeah.
and we'll see that definitely next week when we get into The Last Jedi.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so let me go over to the rankings.
I won
as we
one
stand.
over, but not the other.
So we have, as it stands, in first place, Episode 4, A New Hope. In second place, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. In third place, Episode 7, The Force Awakens. In fourth place, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. In fifth place, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. In sixth place, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Seventh, Solo, A Star Wars Story. Eighth place, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And ninth place, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So with that, folks, what do you think? Do you agree or completely disagree with where we have the movies as it stands right now? Drop a comment below. List your rankings where you think the movie should rightfully be placed and why. Do you agree or disagree with any of the comments that we listed about the movie, what we liked or didn't like? And do you agree or disagree with that? Also, feel free to reach out to us by email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com. You can like the video and support us by subscribing to our channel. And as always, folks, stay nerdy.